Hi, this is not a very good hunting channel. Today we're going to be out in the food plot, spraying for weeds. So today, for spraying weeds, I'm going to be mixing up some Roundup, super concentrate, and we're going to be spraying it with this ATV sprayer. We'll get this hauled out to the food plot. I want to do 2 food plots today. They're just the little ones, but one of them just started, so I don't know exactly how many weeds are growing in it yet, but I'll hit it anyways, even if they're still little. There is the sprayer that I built. Just some irrigation tubing and some spray nozzles. Attaches to the back of my ATV and then to the sprayer that goes on front. So I'm out here in the plot, the latest plot. This one I used the Groundhog Max behind the ATV, or underneath the ATV, and ripped it all up. I'll give you a shot of that. So you can see there's still some grasses and weeds and stuff growing in it. It's not a very big plot. It's about 30-yard circle kind of thing. Goes in between these cedars, and I have a tripod stand tucked away in there. That's going to be where my dad is going to be. This was part of another plot I made last year. It was doing really well, and you can see now the brassicas are flowering. I added seed last year, the end of the season, just to fill in the brassica plot that I put out. It's basically through there around, back, and then down. That's a part of the ATV trail that goes to the back where property line is, kind of. But there's a big fallen tree down there, so that is basically where we stop hunting. I might just leave this stuff. Maybe let the deer find it during the summer, but then I'll plant here to have it up for the fall when they need it. And hopefully that results in more fall traffic. So I'll get the sprayer hooked up. Here's the old prairie. So I'll get the sprayer hooked up and get the nozzles attached here and spray this spot, and then work on getting to the other spot to spray there, the original food plot. So I'm going to be priming this pump. It's been sitting all winter, so it's been drained. It won't spray if you don't prime it. So what you do, or at least what I do, is you get a water bottle, cut the top off, fill it up with water, and grab the inlet tube for your sprayer. That's it there. Put it in, seal it up as best as you can, and flip it upside down and let it run. So the water will run through the tube into the pump a lot easier than having it try to suck the water through the tube. So I'll get the pump powered up and we'll give it a shot. Start with, I guess I'll power it up, see how it goes, then I'll work on priming it. That's the pump running. Going. Okay, working good. All the nozzles are spraying. This one's a little bit off. I don't know what's up with that guy, but they're all spraying, working good. That wasn't too bad. So I'll just give you a rundown before I mix the chemicals. So pump is wired up to a battery into the ATV. I just have it in here. It's just a small power sport battery. It was actually from my dad's old ATV. The battery wasn't keeping the charge very well, and it was not strong enough to start his ATV. So we got a new battery, and I kept that for things such as this. The hose runs from the pump to the sprayer control. You pull that and it pumps, it'll spray. I have it rigged up to a line that goes down and feeds the 2 sets of nozzles. Okay, so we got the pump going. It's primed. We got 5 gallons of water in here. So now we have to add a little bit of dish detergent. We don't want too much because we don't want to make a bubble bath. We just want it to break the surface tension of the plants and the weeds, so it absorbs more of the chemical. Guess I'll put a little bit more. Okay. Now I'll add the Roundup. So the way I use mine is I have, for 5 gallons, you do 10 ounces. I don't really have a measuring cup that I feel like pouring glyphosate in, which is what Roundup is, the weed killer. So I just use a solo cup, and that first line here on a solo cup is 5 ounces. So I'll just do 2 of those per 5 gallon tank. And then you throw the cup out after, and you don't have to worry about mixing up a measuring cup from home that's been full of poison and one of your good ones. Okay, so now we'll give that a good mix. Probably should have saved some water. Let me see if I have any water left. Pour into here to get a little bit of stuff on the screen mixed in. Now, they recommend that you drive around for a bit to get this all mixed up, but I'm just going to use the hose. Just stir it around. Back on, and we're good to go. I just wanted to give another tip when you're using these ATV sprayers. They don't have a baffle in them, or at least this one doesn't have a baffle. So water sloshes around a lot, and when you start getting down to the last little bit, it can cut in and out because it's getting starved for water. So what I did is, whatever side the inlet tube is, so the suction hose is on this side, and it sits down in this little pocket. I've folded up some cardboard to lift this side up so it sits at an angle. So as the water gets down, it wants to run towards the inlet tube. So you're not going to get you're not going to starve it for liquid. You can kind of see it sits at a bit of an angle. Nothing extreme, but every little bit helps. there's a little bit left, but not enough to do the next one. So I'm gonna mix up another batch and then leave the trailer here with all the stuff and just take the ATV with the sprayer out to the other plot and do that one as well. Back. So when I was going through, I had to be very careful because my rig in the back is just slightly wider than my ATV. You can see there. It sticks out just a bit on either side. So I had to be careful coming through because it's fairly narrow. And there's lots of sticks and tree stumps and stuff like that I can get snagged up on, especially all the cedars. I just wanted to do another tip about using Roundup when you're doing your food plots. If you're on a well, like I am, I have a lot of mineral in my water. I have very hard water, and I found that really hurts the potency of the Roundup if you're mixing it with hard water. I have a water softener, but it's not enough. It's still hard water. So what I use to fill this up is water that has been conditioned out of my pool. I measure that all the time, so it has a good pH. It has not very many minerals in it after being so long in my pool, as well as a bunch of rainwater. So that's a good way to do it. If you want to wait after a bunch of rain and your water level in your pool is kind of high and you go to discharge it into some 5-gallon pails and use that. I find that works good. Also, another thing, if you don't have a pool, if you have a dehumidifier in your home, run if you have a drain hose, run it into a 5-gallon pail and fill it up that way. That way it's all the condensation, so there's no minerals in that. It's just basically really clean condensation water. You're not supposed to drink it because of whatever is on your condensation coils, but for mixing it with Roundup, it works really well. And if you don't have a drain hose, just empty your dehumidifier bucket into a 5-gallon pail and use a few of those to fill up your sprayer. So just a tip that you can use, because the first couple of times I tried it just with my well water, it was not killing weeds very well at all. And it's the same ratio that I was using, 10 ounces per 5-gallon, 10 ounces of Roundup per 5-gallon. Now this is the super concentrate. Whatever you have to use, you'll have to check your own ratios. But I found that the 10 ounces to 5-gallon works pretty good. And I'm sure if you don't have any other option but to use your well water and it's hard, just put more Roundup into it. We're here at the second plot. You can see it's growing out pretty good. A lot of bare patches, so that's good. Some, grasses and stuff like that growing in it. Nothing too major. I don't know if my ATV, let me switch here. I don't know if my ATV can get through this very well. I might actually saw down some of these stumps so I can spray in here to kill this stuff. Or if I have a lot left after I do the run, I'll just switch over to the wand. It has a spray nozzle wand, and I'll just use the wand to spot spray in here to kill all this crap that's growing next to the apple tree. All right, back to it. Okay, another tip. These little nozzles, hopefully you can get, there you go. So these little nozzles, they're just push fit onto the tees here. See that? So what I did was I took a drop of crazy glue and put it on the tee and a little bit in the nozzle itself, just on the rim of the nozzle, and then do your push fit, because they were falling off in transit, bouncing around on the ATV trailer. So luckily I was able to find them. But if I was to be spraying, driving around in circles, and one or two fell off, it'd be a real needle in a haystack search to try to find one of these things, especially if I drove over with my ATV and pushed it down into the soil. So to avoid that, spend a couple of bucks and put a little drop of crazy glue on it, and that way they'll stay. They come. You can buy them on Amazon. These set, and it comes with a bunch of nozzles. So depending on how big of a boom arm you're making, this is about, it's 40 inches, something like that. So I don't know how many nozzles I have. 13 per side, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, let's say 20 roughly. So if you buy a pack of 24 and you lose a couple, well, you can always put a few more on to replace them, or just buy a replacement pack. They sell just replacements, they're not too expensive. Okay, so I finished spraying the plot, and just so check, I used the spray wand for the last little bit, just to make sure I got around those trees really good. And you can see down in the bottom there how empty it is, because all the water was forced to run down where the inlet tube is. So that way you don't have a bunch of unused product left in your tank. But if you do end up with product left in your tank, what I like to do is I just drain it into a squirt bottle and then use it at home on the weeds that I don't want around. So none of it goes to waste. Okay, so I'm all done. Did the first spray, got everything packed up and put away. Everything back into the trailer, disconnected. So this is the first spraying. Last year I only did 2 sprays, and it turned out really well. I don't know how it'll go with this new plot because I only tilled it a little while ago with the Groundhog Max, so I'm not sure how much more sprouting of weeds there's going to be. Um, so we'll come back in about 4 weeks to spray a second time, and I might be okay to plant the brassicas soon after that. Last year I planted the brassicas mid-July, and I noticed that late November and like into early December they were starting to wilt and die. So I'm gonna try to delay it into August, but up here we don't really get too many substantial rains in August. A lot of times it's been pretty dry, so I was lucky to find a good span of 2 weeks worth of calling for rain in mid-July last year, so I decided to plant then, and the plots turned out really well. I added urea on top of it after about 4 weeks after I planted with some good rain, so it worked out really well. This year I'm hoping for the same kind of situation, but a little bit further into the year, hopefully start of August or something like that. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we'll make another video when I come out to do another spray, just to keep an update to how the plots are doing. So in the meantime, hopefully you guys are out there working on yours, and hopefully it'll bring you guys lots of success. So this is not a very good hunting channel. Take care.